Ladies and gentlemen, normally we don't cover news here on the channel all that often. I normally leave that up to your Asda crosses, your Rick Cactuses, and everything in between, but today's video is actually going to be the first time that I've covered a TWAB in about a month or two, mainly because I'm really excited about the news that Bungie just dropped. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some new Iron Banner loot that's going to be finding its way into Destiny 2, a nerf to Felwinter's Lie and Astral Horizon, a nerf to 120 hand cannons, a very random buff to Bastion that kind of came out of nowhere, and a bunch of other stuff on the weapon tuning front. So we got some really interesting things to talk about in today's video, so let's go ahead and hop into it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Iron Banner. You guys know firsthand that Iron Banner is one of my favorite modes in Destiny. It always has been since Destiny 1, and ever since Destiny 2 rolled around, I've always felt that this mode was very much neglected by Bungie, but apparently Bungie has heard our pleas and they're actually starting to put a little bit more effort into it. The image that you see on screen right now are 4 of the weapons that will be making their way to the Iron Banner loot pool starting next season. 2 of which are reissued and 2 of which are new. I'm sure you can probably tell what the new ones are, being the machine gun and the shotgun. I gotta say that I really do like that kind of aesthetic for the Iron Banner weapons. Kind of gives me a little bit of a Rise of Iron vibe, if you know what I'm saying. What Bungie said is they said a familiar hand cannon and sniper rifle will be rejoining the fight, but 2 new weapons are also making their debut in Iron Banner. Our goals moving forward are to continue bringing year 1 weapons up to speed with random rolls, but also bringing some new rewards into the fold when possible. This always depends a bit on what resources we have for a given season, but we're looking forward to a few new Iron Banner themed tools for your arsenal. And going back to what they said about the year 1 weapons up to speed with random rolls, how about we kind of bring some of the Trials of the 9 weapons, huh? Kind of throw them into the master version of Prophecy if you ever make it, you know? I'm just saying, if you're gonna reissue weapons in Destiny 2, do the Trials of the 9 weapons. They look so cool. I would absolutely love those to be back in the game. I don't even care about the Iron Banner weapons. Bring those back. I would love it. Bungie also says, looking even further out, we're planning some new armor for Iron Banner. These sets won't appear for a few seasons, unfortunate, but we've heard your desire for some new digs. Once we have more information, we'll let you know. Until then, we hope you enjoy the new weapon. So hopefully this is a bit of a renewed focus on Iron Banner. Iron Banner comes around every single season, multiple times, and the most important thing about it every single time is usually the fact that you can get some power levels off of it. Back in the day, Destiny 1, it used to be the loot. That was the centerfold of Iron Banner. The reason you played it was for the loot. Now the reason you play it is for power leveling, and I think that's absolute bullshit. So hopefully Bungie has a bit of a renewed focus on Iron Banner and they continue bringing out some new stuff for the mode. I don't want just reissued weapons. Try to bring at least 1 or 2 weapons each season if you're gonna have this playlist rotating in and out constantly throughout the course of said season. Now moving on from there, we have some weapon tuning news. Some big weapon tuning news, especially concerning the Astral Horizon, Felwinters, and the 120 hand cannon. So we're going to go ahead and start off with what Bungie had to say about quick draw as a perk as it pertains to some aggressive frame shotguns. They say that this perk is intended to provide faster swap speed, but also passively buffs handling by 100. This completely negates the downside of using low handling weapons such as aggressive shotguns, sniper rifles, and hand cannons, which isn't something we want to encourage. Those weapons should have downsides, and working around those completely via a perk isn't healthy. We don't think allowing a fast swap with the shotgun subfamily with the highest one-hit kill range is great either. They say the handling bonus is now removed 1 second after switching to the weapon or upon aiming down sights, and they also replaced quick draw with surplus on new and existing drops of Felwinter's Lie and Astrals. Can we please get an F in the chat for my quick draw opening shot Astral? Unfortunately, it will no longer be my baby going into the next season. So they're completely replacing quick draw on these aggressive frame shotguns, which basically means that there's going to be a new king in town very soon. Video coming out this weekend on Retold Tale. But this is very interesting. I think that this is something that needed to happen. Quick draw on these shotguns is absolutely ridiculous, so you know, I support Bungie on this. Now moving on from there, let's go ahead and talk about 120 hand cannons. Yes, the biggest meta that we've seen in quite a while. Let's see what Bungie has to say about it. They say that they're very dominant in PvP, and we've received enough feedback that we want to rein them in a bit without completely taking away the range benefit. They say that these weapons will have a damage and aim assist fall off distance reduced by between 2 and 4 meters based on the range stat, and they say that this roughly halves the range buff that they received in Beyond Light. So I'm not entirely sure how much this is going to affect 120s. Obviously, they're going for the range, they're going for the aim assist, which are two very strong stats on these weapons. Hopefully, as an Igneous Simp, hopefully these weapons are definitely still usable, but not as overpowered as they previously were. Now, moving on from there, we have a nerf that I completely disagree with and do not like at all. They say Vortex Frame Swords. With Falling Guillotine now viable forever, we need to adjust a little, as its damage output is flat out higher than other legendary swords. With this change, we allow it to keep its high damage output, but are reducing its full reserves damage output by reducing the number of heavy attacks you'll be able to perform. I don't know, you've nerfed Guillotine enough, man. Like, does it really need to be just like beaten and bruised like this? I love my Guillotine, okay, I get it. The weapon's gonna be around forever because no sunsetting, but man, like, you've nerfed swords so many times. Like, you nerfed swords across the board a few TWABs ago, or, you know, like a month or two ago, because Lament and Guillotine had a high usage rate. So you go from nerfing all the swords, and now you say that Guillotine's better than the other sword. It's just, stop, okay, just stop. Just help the other swords get up to Guillotine level. Don't put Guillotine down to their level. You know what I'm saying? Make swords across the board powerful for different reasons. I would love that. I just don't like how Guillotine's getting treated here. Now, moving on from there, we have something that I'm pretty much neutral on. We have chip damage. They say certain weapons, swords and Bastion, bypass shields by varying amount, which has caused numerous issues with stasis encased enemies, encounter mechanics, and other content. We have removed chip damage from swords and Bastion. Don't really care too much about that. This one I found a little bit weird. It's about the Frenzy perk. They say the perk has extremely high uptime in PvE to the point where it clearly is a better choice than most other damage perks. We like the high uptime and want to preserve that, but we want to award it less damage than harder to activate damage perks. They say that they reduce the bonus damage from 20% to 15%, which I am not the biggest fan on. I mean, it's not gonna affect me in the biggest way because I preferred the other damage perks more anyways, because I kind of got to choose when they got activated by killing certain enemies other than just getting shot at or having to wait on my perk to proc. So I really honestly wasn't using Frenzy that much anyways, but I'm kind of sad that it did get a nerf. Moving on from there, we have Reservoir Burst. It says now increases magazine size in addition to its other effects, reduced full battery bonus damage from 33% to 25%. And they say the upcoming content requires revisiting the power level of a damage perk that can be activated by simply having a full magazine. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. Probably talking about the Vex Mythoclast here. Just gonna say it. Probably talking about the Vex Mythoclast coming next season. Because of Autoglass and everything, so there's that. Next up, we have the Lament. The Lament's actually getting a nerf. They say this weapon is a clear outlier for sword damage. So for the health of heavy weapon diversity, we're pulling it back a little bit. They reduce the damage of the revved heavy attack by 16%. And that Lament retains its standard anti-barrier despite removing chip damage. So again, another sword that we all beloved is getting nerfed. I'm a little indifferent on Lament, to be honest with you. It is a little crazy. So, I'm not gonna go crazy over it. Now, we have a Bastion buff that actually kind of came out of nowhere. Since we're removing chip damage, Bastion gets something else instead. We've noticed increased feedback on Bastion and higher than normal usage in PvP, so we're making a small change here and we'll revisit Bastion later. They say it intrinsically will now stagger unstopped champions, and then they increase the spread angle by 30%. So it's kind of like a buff and a nerf, you know, but a buff in PvE that, you know, no one's ever really using Bastion in PvE anyways. This kind of gives it a whole new usage, you know, just out of nowhere. So Bastion getting a buff, kind of a little bit of a nerf too, but a buff in PvE, and that's a big deal because it was never really all that viable in PvE. Now, the last thing that Bungie has to say right here with this final little paragraph is that they're actually going to be taking a look at some more perks very soon. They also said they're going to be looking at some more archetypes in future TWABs. But here, they say that they're going to be taking a look at Iron Grip, Subsistence, Unrelenting, and more in a few short weeks. So very interested to see what they do with Subsistence. I'm not the biggest fan of that perk, mainly because of what it does to your reserves, but that's personally me. I think if they got rid of that, the subsistence would kind of be a little bit baller, but you know, that's my opinion. I know some people like it regardless. I kind of hate the perk. But guys, that is it for this video. We have some new Iron Banner loot on the horizon, new armor sets on the horizon for Iron Banner, and we got some big changes in the weapon tuning department for PvP and PvE. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Before I close things out, Bungie mentioned a charity drive that they're doing called Kilts for Kids. If you guys are interested in that, I'll leave the link in the description. You guys can donate there and get a special emblem. So if you guys are some charity nuts, you want to help out some kids and whatnot, definitely go to the link in the description. Check out the TWAB, it's at the top. Do your donation, get your emblem, and feel good about it. But guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.